Hello, it's Lisa Dickey from Dickey's Cooking School, and I'm going to show you how to make biscuits. Why biscuits? One, they're easy. Two, if you know how to make biscuits, you can also make buttermilk donuts, and you're halfway to making pastry. Same technique, and they're delicious, and they're the perfect accompaniment to soup, and it's getting to be soup season. So here we go. This is what you need. 2 cups of flour, all-purpose, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, tablespoon of white sugar, just gonna grab the last little bit in there, and then half a teaspoon of salt. You're gonna give this a really quick little whisk here. And then I've got some butter here, half a cup of butter. I'm just gonna toss it in the flour for a moment. You're gonna see why in a minute. Now, the rule with biscuits, number 1, your fat has to be stone cold. Best to get it out of the freezer, if not straight from the fridge. Warm hands and warm butter is the enemy of your biscuits. Okay? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a little bit of flour. We're gonna sprinkle it into the bottom of the bowl. And then we're gonna grate a little bit of cold butter. A little more flour, a little more butter, and we're gonna do this until all the butter and flour is grated. Sometimes if the butter kind of mats up a little bit, just give it a little shake, toss it, and then keep going. Okay, we're back. We have all the butter grated, and it's in here. Now, we're going to add buttermilk. Why buttermilk? It's creamy and tangy. You can use regular 3% milk, make sure it's ice cold. You can use 2%, you could use skim, but why? Also, if you wanted to make this vegan, you could use soy milk, coconut milk would have a coconutty slightly taste, or you could use an oat milk. Similarly, you could use the vegan, the earth balanced butter if you wanted to. Just same thing, you have to make sure it's ice cold and you're gonna grate that butter. So it could be vegan easily. I've done that. I haven't tested gluten-free. I would do it with a 1-to-1 gluten flour, and the quantity of milk is 3/4 of a cup. Maybe you might want to back off the milk just to see how it mixes together. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We've got everything mixed in, whoops, and now we're going to dump all of our buttermilk right down the center. It's essential you do not over mix your biscuits. You're just combining the wet with the dry. It's the same technique you would use if you're making muffins. Okay, you don't want them chewy, you're not creating a lot of gluten, you just want it to combine. So basically you're combining it until you get this kind of shaggy looking dough, okay, like that. Once it's like that, I'm gonna take all the moisture off the spatula here. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of flour onto the table, spread it around, and then I'm gonna dump all my dough out, okay? It's obviously not mixed in. So what you do, you're gonna knead with the heel of your hand, okay? So it's a turn and a push, and a turn and a push, and push. You're just forming it together. It's gonna be between 3 and 6 passes. Stuff after that that doesn't form, then just assume that it won't, okay? So here are our biscuits. We're gonna push them down. You just want them evened out. You do not need a rolling pin for this, okay? Now I've got my cookie cutter. You don't need a cookie cutter. You can use a glass, a plastic cup. It doesn't matter, okay? So you're just gonna cut them out. Now you're gonna cut them out at the very edge of your circle, because if you cut it in the middle and you have a bunch of scraps, then you're gonna have to do a lot of re-rolling. Get them in your little baking dish. I lined it with parchment paper just because it's easier. You want them to sit pretty close together, actually. And then this last one, we're just gonna kind of cobble it together. That's a bigger one. Those are our biscuits. They're gonna cook in the oven at 400 for like 9 to 11 minutes, depending on how hot your oven is. If you wanted to make them more on the savory side, you could take out the 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar and you could put chives, finely chopped chives or rosemary. You could do dried herbs. You could even grate some really sharp cheddar or Parmesan cheese in it. And that's it, delicious biscuits. I'm gonna turn the oven on and and ta-da, beautiful biscuits. Mmm. Mmm.